Okay, so this is something I've been interested in. So community and memberships. I know there's like a lot of talk about creator economy and communities and all that kind of stuff. I don't see many people doing them really, really well. I have like a list that I keep of people that run good communities. There's a barrier to entry though to this list. You have to have at least 1,000 paid members and you have to not be on Facebook groups.
That's what you're keeping. You're going to ask me, I hate communities too. I'm not really good at it. There is one community that did something really interesting. Will Schroeder from startups.com, he put me and these 3 or maybe it was 4 other great entrepreneurs on a weekly call. And then one of us said we need a way to talk in between calls, and we created a WhatsApp group. Mm-hmm. It's such a close bond to be able to, when you're talking to someone on the phone, to go into a chat with them. It's amazing. My friends who are Christian who go into these big churches will also have these small groups where a similar thing happens, where it's now this big group is going into a small platform, and now you care about the bigger group more because you're coming into a small platform. There's something about that I think even someone like me who hates groups gets a lot of value out of.
I like that analogy. I never thought of it like the church, and you have a little breakout group, or you have like a giant college class and you have your little TA session.
Right, or your small project where you get to bitch about the teacher and everything, but you're working on a single project. It's super helpful. Even in kindergarten, when my kid went into Zoom class, the teacher finally figured out how to do Zoom, and she put them into breakout rooms. And having them in a small group meant that the kids, like 3 or 4 other kids together, they got to know each other better, and they cared more about the bigger Zoom class that you did.
On the current iteration of, so Mixergy is a subscription. Do people still, I remember like the comments used to be a big thing on yours.
Yeah, comes and goes. Comments are dead.
Yeah?
Yeah, they might come back, but comments at some point died.
Huh. Oh, so have you ever thought of putting like a forum for Mixergy so people could talk or anything?
And we did a community. It worked out well. I just don't love communities. What I ended up shifting it to that I really enjoyed was I like in person. That's one of my problems. So I said, let's get guests who I've interviewed and we'll do dinners for them. And the guests want to know what other entrepreneurs are going through. And so we started hosting these dinners around the country, around the world actually, where one entrepreneur who I interviewed would get together with say 6 other, 10 other entrepreneurs in their city, and they'd have dinner and they'd talk, and it created a great relationship.
Wait, but so hold on. You said that it did well. So you put like a forum thing and people were using it. So what did you not like about it?
I don't like staying engaged all the time. I don't like staying engaged all the time. That's definitely one of my problems.
No, I mean, it's fair.
I like fully disconnected.
I mean, it's also one of the problems with the Facebook groups, right? What does Facebook reward? They reward contentious things that have a lot of... Sorry. They don't reward contentious things. They reward things that have a lot of engagement and activity, which is often contentious stuff. And then also, it's like the big questions get the most amount of answers. So if I'm in a copywriting community, everyone's always like, what's the first step to do copywriting? How do I make $1 trillion a day doing copywriting? What copywriting books are out there? It's like the same questions over and over. And Facebook kind of rewards that because those get the most engagement. Yeah. Keep people coming back to Facebook, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, that's one of the things. I don't want a community that's just active for being active's sake, which a lot of Facebook groups are. They just try to engage their people just to keep engaging.
Right. Let's just ask a question of the day. And the question of the day is, where would you fly if you could fly anywhere? And then who cares? But they're sucking you in. I think your community is different because what you're doing is you're focusing it more on a direct result that people are aiming for, right? They're aiming for improving their copy and getting better at giving like feedback. Am I right?
Yeah. So if there's 10 posts on a thread, it's literally because someone said, here's my about page. I think it sucks and it's not working. What can we do to make it better? And we say, try this, try this. They come back a week later. They're like, hey, we did it. We have a 3% higher open rate now or whatever. And we're like, cool. And then that thread dies. I think that's the important part.
That does suck. I hate that the threads die.
No, but it's good. I think it's a feature, not a bug. Yeah, because think about it. Imagine if Facebook groups, the threads kept growing, it would just go forever.
Maybe the thread should die, but there's so much like utility in that. In what was said there that I wish it could get saved. One of the things that
wait. They get saved. They don't die. They die of activity.
Mean there's no more conversation, but people save it. Yes.
But see, once it's solved, you don't need a lot more. Unless there's some sort of follow-up, and they can always still post. But like, you don't want to keep just going on the thread forever. Then it just gets old.
Okay, no, I see your point. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like my favorite community is Stack Exchange, Stack Overflow, where they will have a question and then the top answer underneath it. And that could stand for years. And then maybe 5 years after the question was asked, somebody will come up with a better answer and it'll get updated. But it's so useful even after the fact that you can search.
But you know what Stack Exchange does?
What?
It says resolved.
But you can always come in and add something else
Correct.
to it, right? And improve it. But there is a resolution.
But
right?
that's where each thread is an asset to the community, not just like this random thing that goes away. Whereas Facebook groups, I know it still exists, but
it's
like
not useful.
If you go to like the
Yes.
Hustle Trends group or something and scroll back, 20 pages, you're still on like day 4.
We're not doing it. But how great would it be if somebody could say in the Hustle, give me the 20 best ideas all time here. Give me the 20 best moments of the podcast. I don't know. I do wish that it survived.
Yeah, hopefully Facebook comes out with some better organization.
Or maybe it's someone else will come up with it.
Maybe, yeah. So I know you've done so you have your main membership. That's been like the primary thing, and I know you've done like other courses and academies or whatever you want to call it. How would those compare to like just like a subscription for Mixergy?
Of all the things that I've done, the subscription is the one that lasts the best and the best thing that I've done of all of it. Because the courses, if I do a bigger course, I've seen that people do these multi-$1,000 courses, and I think there's huge value in that. I get much more invested when someone's spending $3,000 on a program. I think it's just phenomenal. And I have more to give, right? There's a bigger budget to make sure that they're taken care of, that we mail the thing that they want. But the subscription in many ways is like a SaaS product where people are invested month after month after month. You know, there've been times when I've just been burned out, but the subscription continues to go and the people are still there, and it's helpful.
And I've noticed for a long time, because I have a site called swipefile.com where we track people's pricing and stuff like that and just whatever. So you've had your subscription as like $47 a month for a long time, right?
Yeah.
Is that like the magic number for some reason?
You know what it was? I discovered at some point that people who really want it at a certain point will pay. They could even pay $100 a month. If there's a thing, they'll pay for it. And then if they don't really want it and they're on the fence, the thing that will get them to say yes is a discount that's temporary. So we went from $25 a month to $50 essentially. You're saying 49. I'm going to up it to, I'm going to say it's 50, right? $50 a month. And if somebody wants the thing, they'll sign up for it for $50 a month. I'll try to transition them to annual. And Neil Patel years ago said, try to switch people over to annual. It's less of a pain in the neck for them and it's great for you. It's all the way around. It's fantastic. So we do that. And then we'll do discounts every once in a while. There'll be one for Thanksgiving, Black Friday, whatever.
That sounds pretty much like what we're doing.
Is that what you're doing too?
Yeah, we did. So we started the actual forum like in 2019. It's been 2 years or so since we started it. 2 years, 5 months, something like that. And we tried all these different price points just to see what would happen. And I hate this about the world, but you try all these new things. Like you try different crazy prices, try different structures, but it always comes back to the same goddamn thing, which is like $97 a month or $497 yearly. Like those just somehow stick. Like I don't completely get it. I think it's just like people are so used to it that it's not a big deal. Also, it just kind of makes sense. Like you save a little bit of money if you go. It
does make sense. People have all figured it out, and like I don't know what the logic is behind it, but maybe that's the number that you can charge your company or something. I don't know.
People are just used to it. Yeah.
You know what I wish I'd done though is I wish I'd had a company-wide price. I've always geared myself towards entrepreneurs, but companies buy in bulk. Companies buy this type of thing like it's nothing. If I think about when I spend money for myself, I'm much cheaper. When someone on my team needed better writing and they told me that you offered the consulting package, I said, absolutely go buy the consulting package because I know what I'm paying the person who's going to go work with you to pay a little bit more to make them much more useful. It absolutely makes sense. And I think that there are a few different options that I could have considered, but to have a package for a company is really helpful.
We have that, and people have done it, but it was just kind of pulled out of my ass. How have you seen that done well before?
The easiest thing is to just say this is for the whole company. But you know what I've seen? So I've interviewed people who've done courses, and I've tried to understand what they're adding into it. Some way for the boss to see progress is a big one. I don't really believe that the boss ever checks to see did everyone go through it, but I think it's very satisfying to know that you will get to see progress. To see that they've gone in on a regular basis, they're doing this thing.
I literally answered that email before this question. The guy's like, is there a way to just track if
Did they? Yeah.
or did they even log in? Like, am I spending money
Right.
and getting something out of it, or is this down the toilet?
Right. And then overall, if the person knows that their boss is watching, maybe that increases their utility of it. It's a really great feature. And it's great for companies to be able to offer extra perks.
We just been doing actually yearly seats. So we take our yearly price, whatever it is, and then we say you just buy a bunch of seats in bulk. So just send us the list of emails and we'll do that.
Okay. Yeah.
We're trying to make it fully automated right now. Just with subscription stuff, it gets a little bit more complicated.
Yeah.
But not really. So, but yeah, that's always a good thing when like, a marketing company will buy, 12 seats for their people.
And you've had that happen where
yeah.
come in, isn't that great?
Yeah. I mean, it's so far that onboarding process has been a little ghetto in terms of just like they email us and then we send it back and forth, but we're going to automate it. And so hopefully that becomes more of a thing, because honestly, those people are the best.
Yeah.
A lot of times they'll buy what we think is a large number to us, but then to their company, it's like nothing, right? It's a drop in the bucket. And we'll help them improve like one email for their sales team. And it does it 3% better. And they're like, yeah, this means millions of dollars for us. So we don't give a shit about the, 10 grand we dropped on you or whatever.
Yeah. And for some reason, I just didn't think that way, but it's so helpful to think that way.
Interesting.
Right.
I knew this one guy who ran a course company, just basic courses on how to do like a large IT company's products, right? A lot of complicated products. And he just made courses on that. And a company bought them for $40 million. That company bought them for $40 million. And I was like, what?
Okay.
And it's just like, for them, that is not a big number.
Wait, bought the whole business for $40
Yeah, the whole
million.
business.
Okay. To integrate them in and give it to their employees? No, to sell the service.
Well, to give the employees mainly. That's it.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. And then also they sell to their retailers or something like that.
Okay.
I remember thinking like, what a crazy valuation that was, because it's being sold to a larger company. And so, they got my brain turning a little bit, of course, like,
I think there's something here. I think copywriting for businesses, we're now seeing that everybody's in the copywriting space, right? We think about somebody who's creating ads for people, for their customers. But there are few entrepreneurs who I interviewed on Mixergy whose whole business is to put together for companies all the branding materials they need. And I said, what the hell do you need that for? They said, well, think about when a bathroom's out of order. Some companies would feel great just writing on a piece of paper out of order and putting it up there. Other businesses can't have that. They need it to feel on brand or else it's going to look junky. Now, how do they know it's on brand? They used to have a Google Drive or a Dropbox thing, and it just doesn't work. They need to have it organized in a better way to know who checked what out and where things are used. And it's multiple businesses that are multi-million-dollar businesses just keeping the brands together. There's nothing for copywriting like that. When we think about how we write a letter, how we write an email out to the team, or to our clients, that's copywriting. And there's nobody who's done that, said everybody in the business is in the business of copywriting. I feel like you're onto something with this.
Yeah, just optimizing little things for company. My favorite is just the cold email outreach. Or the quick like sales pitch like, email. Those are the best because it's the most immediate results.
Yep.
Right. So I remember I can't talk about a lot of these because they're private or the paid consulting stuff. There's a farming company, and farms sell like when they sell fertilizer, they don't sell like a bag of fertilizer. They sell like $3 million worth of fertilizer.
Okay.
And if they get one more farmer to buy $3 million worth of fertilizer, that's a lot of money.
So this was a client of yours who needed a way to improve that one email. So
they could sell. They have 12 people do outreach to companies. And so it's email, but there's also in the farming industry, there's a ton of calling going on, like good old boys network kind of. And the way they were outreaching was very just like dumb. It's like, hey, we've been around since 1945. And I'm just like, I don't give a shit about any of this. It's just like, we're 25% cheaper and we have local things near you. So the shipping cost is $300,000 instead of.
And that's what you told them. That's
I was like, put that in there. And they're like, they started selling more of this product. And they're like, cool, yeah, that's what we needed. That's all we needed. Like, they don't care about any of the other videos or anything. They're like, that's what we wanted, and we're out.
I've seen you do this with people. I've seen you do it with me, where you'll hear what I'm trying to say, and you'll just cut through everything and say, here's the approach. Do you then do what I did? Do you come back the way that I did with my interviews and say, what are the techniques I'm using without being aware of? Are you creating a Google Doc somewhere where afterwards, after a consulting call, you say, here's what I did that worked? After a forum post, say, here's what I did that worked or what didn't. Do you do that?
Yeah. We like in our members area, this is common stuff we do.
How formatted are you? How organized are you about your techniques?
I guess not very. I guess if you ask me, do I have an actual doc for that? No, there's
No,
way.
but I know it's in your gut, and I know that it's repetitive. It's not like it's one time random out this way, and then if your gut's going that way, it's that way.
Some of it, but when you're talking about something very specific, like a cold email, I'm just like, cut most of the big words out, make all the words easy, bullet points, and strong call to action. There you go. That's the whole thing.
I think that'd
Right.
be great. I think if you could find a way to condense it all into that, and even if it's not a book, but here's a forum with the things that we believe, and now we're going to link out to all the different examples of how you've done it, something in that.
Hey, it's Neville here, and I'd love to explain 4 reasons getting on our email list can benefit your life. Number 1, every Friday we send out the stupid email, which is a swipe, thought, uplifting, picture, interesting, and drawing. People regularly say this is their most look forward to email they get all week. Number 2, we spend a lot of time and money filming great interviews about content marketing, copywriting, communications, growing a business, and just figuring out more about how the world works. For example, we've interviewed the CEOs of AppSumo, Udemy, The Hustle, and many more. There's so many golden nugget lessons we learn from each of them, and I hope you get in on this too. Number 3, a single idea can possibly change the trajectory of your life. Just one thing you learn or pick up from these emails can potentially have a gigantic impact on you. And number 4, we cover topics on how to grow a small business from just a side project to becoming something that's a full-time career. And bonus number 5, you can unsubscribe at any time. One click, poof, I am out of your life forever. Losing a subscriber is painful, so I've tried to make sure my email list is full of useful information to business owners and people trying to improve their copy and communication skills. So go to copywritingcourse.com and enter your email. We'll handle the rest. Thank you.